a Gundam.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Murdoch. We're gonna dive into what has to be one of the most stunning and recycled kits in my display shelf. But first, before we get into the review, if you want to see me do more model kit reviews like this, please like and subscribe so I know where to focus my efforts in delivering you better content. Also, still relatively new to this channel, I have Amazon affiliate links down the description below. Yeah, below. Finger don't want to work. Down there. Anyway, these links just help provide a kickback to the channel and help me improve channel content. There are no particular order, but if you decide you want to get into the hobby, the stuff posted in these links will certainly help you down that path. I'll be going over the basics for model building tools in a separate video soon, eventually. I'm working on it, honest. And we'll look at some of these items then. Okay, it's time. The real grade RX-0 Unicorn Gundam Perfectibility. Or for you weebs like me out there, Plan B. I'm gonna sound basic, but this machine has managed to brute force its way to compete for the best Gundam spot in my heart up against the venerable Zeta. I'll cover a bit of background on this machine. But honestly, I could sit here all day and talk about the events of Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn and NT. So here's as quick a summary as I could make without, spending an hour sitting here doing this. The Unicorn Gundam, along with its sibling variants, the Banshee and the Phoenix, or Phoenix, depending on who you ask, were developed near the end of Universal Century 0094. But because of some freak activity from the Phoenix against the Rebou in 0095, they were sequestered for more testing and would not make an appearance again until UC 0096, when the events of Unicorn began. The Unicorn is piloted by Bandager Lynx, your typical shonen protagonist caught in the middle of a power struggle between politics and corporate greed. And it turns out he just has a deep need for a certain princess of Zeon to need him. Yeah, it's complicated. But it wouldn't be any good if it weren't. The technology used in these Gundams has been condemned, restricted, and all but this single Unicorn Gundam were sealed away and probably dismantled after the events of NT in UC 0097. Because the space magic was so strong with that much psycho frame, they were being used as resurrection and immortality machines. Yeah, NT got a little very spiritual with its narrative. For those of you who are new to Gundam and are wondering what all the clear colored bits are about, that's this stuff called Psycho Frame. All you really need to know is that it looks cool and uses undefined space magic. Space magic! I'll probably do a 5-minute mecha video for my friends over at Gunpla Network with more depth in the future on that subject. Okay, exclusivity of this kit. The Unicorn Perfectibility kits are all, yes, I mean all of them, the high grade, the real grade, and the master grade. We're looking at the real grade today, of course. They're all Gundam base exclusives. This means you either need to pick one up from there or hunt for a third-party exporter. Okay, things that come with this kit. The Gundam itself, obviously. Unicorn, it's just, if you can get past certain little things, we'll discuss in detail a little bit more with the endoskeleton, because it's one of the earlier real grades. Yeah, it's fantastic. There are plenty of spare parts on runners with this particular kit because, you know, it uses parts from both the Banshee and the Phoenix. Funny enough, because of the runners it uses, it has both a miniature of Bandager and Riddy because of that. And because it comes with a fancy beam halberd, you'll also get the FA1 and FB1 runners from the full armor unicorn kit. The sticker sheet is pretty big, but like any high-end kit like this, these are all little extra things like warning labels and slight embellishments and different covers for the eyes, basically. Gives it that touch of realism. Alright, on to the accessories. Oh boy, what doesn't this kit come with? Where to start? Oh, I know. Let's go from mundane to crazy and cool. You get your standard beam saber effect chopsticks in the same shade of blue as everything else here. 4 unicorn specific kind of rectangular square cylinder beam sabers. 2 of them more cleverly hidden in the backpack because Banshee. And the other 2 mounted in the forearms. You, of course, get the Beam Magnum in all its glory, and I must say, having 3 different versions of this gun now, both high grade, real grade, and master grade. The real grade is still by far my favorite for its detail and mechanical function, and just it's just nice in the hands, which is funny to say. Next up, we have the armed armor. All of it. Let's start with the cool stuff mounted on the arms. We have the Armed Armor VN, that beautiful power claw, and BS. Yes, it's abbreviated BS for Beam Smart Gun. The rails on it are just plain cool, and this is a wonderful nod to Gundam Sentinel with that tech. Then we have the pair of Armed Armor DEs. These are the insane rocket booster looking shields with tails. And, well, they do a lot more than just that. But, I'll save the gushing for another video. Finally, they consider this an armed armor, but to me it's just a straight up weapon, the Beam Halberd. Also known as his designation of Armed Armor HJ, Hyper Beam Jab. Alright, as for articulation, as evidenced by some of what you're seeing, this model can stand on its own with everything it's supposed to come with if you count holding weapons in hand. In terms of degrees of freedom, how shall I put this? There's almost nothing on this kit that doesn't move in some capacity. I would refer you to my VODs of my live streams, especially the recent ones where I do show off much of that articulation. Just because I could gush about how many moving parts this kit has and still not do it justice. That being said, okay, it's still a unicorn and still has several major drawbacks that just about every one of them does. The biggest drawback is because of all those moving parts, well, things will eventually and inevitably pop off, pop out, or require extra love and care to get just so, and potentially get screwed up again as you adjust an adjacent part. It's just part and parcel with this hobby, unfortunately. So once you've got this thing built, you're probably not going to want to play with it too much. And it will become a very pretty brick. So much so, it'll probably steal all the attention on the shelf. This kit also comes with 3 sets of hands. It comes with closed fist, comes with holding hands, and it comes with trigger or pistol grip, trigger ready hands, 1 for each side. So you get 6 hands in total, and you can pretty much ambidextrously have them hold whatever you want. Build-wise, this guy was a bit of a marathon, especially building about 90% of them on stream. You can check out my warp speed build video of that up here. That being said, I got excited for putting it together and putting every little detail on it in a way that I've only really felt with Verka edition kits. And like any transforming kits, whether they be real grades or master grades, this thing is going to test your patience. Throughout the build process, after it's done, you name it, it's going to test your patience, okay? All because of the transformation gimmicks. That's an unfortunate side effect of transforming kits. It's one of those things that no matter how awesome they are, there's still that one caveat you have to worry about. The other bit of advice I do have for these kits is make sure you take the time to wiggle and loosen the joints on those endoskeleton parts. So in this case, I'm talking about, I believe it's the Beeb runner. All those parts on there, like the shoulders, the arms, the legs, make sure all that rotates. And might need a little bit of it, and you might even need to add a little bit of oil just so that it's a little bit more fluid and sturdy, because these things, they come from the factory. They're either like crazy tight, and I've had friends have horror stories of just twisting and just the arm snapping off, to can't hold up right, goes through, or rather through. And you don't want that, right? So there are ways to make that a little bit more permanent, but hopefully it's just the right amount of tight. Okay, so what's the damage for this kit? Well, if you can find it for proper retail value at a Gundam base, it'll probably be significantly cheaper than what I'm about to share with you. Because resellers, however, I'm finding from my research, you're going to see it, average street price seems to be around $140 US for places like, I've even seen it advertised on Amazon. All in all, I mean, I love this thing. It's like I said, it's a beautiful brick. It has a lot of posability. And I know it does what it's supposed to do. I just keep finding my gaze being drawn to it and staring at it lovingly. It's beautiful. But that's it for this kit review, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.